Good evening. Welcome to the Psychic Coffee Shop. I'm Aeson Knight, and of course, I'm with Techie with Gnosis, Techie Joe. How are you, darling?
I'm doing well. How are you this evening?
Doing pretty well with my bronchitis. You guys may hear it in my voice. Please understand that it's just bronchitis. If I happen to go off screen, that's because I've gone to have a coughing fit, and I'll be back shortly.
Yes. So, at least that's a little bit better.
Do what?
So at least it's getting a little bit better.
It is. You got me into some cough medicine from SuperDoc because everything over the counter is shit.
Sadly. Don't
I
know
know,
what happened
right?
Well, we know what happened to over the counter. That's been a whole, that's probably a whole show in and of itself.
Right.
To understand what the hell happened to over-the-counter cough syrup is a whole story that gets us to where we are today, and the fact that there's just nothing over the counter that's useful.
Right, and it's going to inspire a YouTube video as soon as I'm well enough to go driving. I'm going to go buy something.
Okay. Alrighty. Fun. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda.
Yeah. Brenda, how are you?
That sweet tea's not going down tonight.
Well, hopefully it goes up. I mean, it needs to go up and around and down your intestines, not, up, down and just straight down, because then you're in trouble because it's lands somewhere around your kneecap.
Okay. Oh, did we mention he had cough syrup right before the show?
Yes, I did.
Okay, cool.
So I can get through the show. But anyhow.
Yes.
Let's hop over and, I don't know, you choose what we're talking about first.
All right. Police arrest woman as child in handcuffs flees to neighbor alleging abuse. No, we're not. And I repeat, not reading the Ruby Frankie story all over again. This is actually here in West Virginia.
Yes.
In Charleston, that article went up today. So
this is horrifying.
It is.
All right.
So buckle up. Small children might want to walk out of a ring.
Earbuds are recommended.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Now I've started coughing. Good God, what did you do to me?
I have nothing to do with that.
All right, so police in West Virginia have arrested a woman after police say a child wearing handcuffs escaped a home and ran to a neighbor for help. Laura Southworth, 54 of Charleston, is being charged with child abuse and unlawful restraint, according to a news release from the Charleston Police Department. Around 9 a.m. on Monday, 911 received a call from a neighbor in the 700 block of Bridge Road that a child wearing handcuffs had shown up at their home and was making allegations that she was abused and neglected. Upon further investigation, evidence of abuse and neglect was discovered to have taken place inside the juvenile's home, Lieutenant Tony Hazlitt said in the release. Multiple offers responded to the home and later took Southworth into custody. Charleston police described the home as, quote, extremely messy, with multiple items covering the floor throughout, a criminal complaint filed in Kanawha County Magistrate Court. Southworth told investigators that she handcuffed the child Sunday evening between 8 and 9 p.m. due to the child making a mess, stealing food, and placing it in hidden areas and trying to leave the house without permission, the complaint said. It makes me sick knowing that something that serious was happening so close to me. I wish I knew about it. Those people are pretty keep to themselves. I wish I could have prevented it, neighbor Mike Leardy told Eyewitness News. During her arraignment, Southworth said she had 4 children living with her, ranging in age from 3 to 16 years old. The Charleston Police Department, Child Protective Services, and the Kanawha County Prosecuting Attorney's Office are collectively working together on this case, police said. Southworth is currently being held on a $10,000 surety cash bond. A preliminary hearing in the case is scheduled for October 2nd.
This is becoming rampant. This is like the third case.
And I read the title, and my first thought was like, is this another flippin' story about Ruby Frank? Like, what the hell? By the way, this was WCHS in West Virginia. Mm-hmm. So I read the title and I was like, are y'all having a slow news day? You needed to pull the Ruby Frankie thing back out of the, did something get stuck in publishing? Like, what the hell? And then realized, no, this was a current story. So today is Tuesday, and the story hit approximately, it was updated at 6:40. 11:17 a.m. So Tuesday morning is when this developed, and this child had been handcuffed since Sunday night. So 24 hours to Monday night. Mm-hmm. Plus another, I have a horrible feeling this is going to be one of those stories that only gets worse.
I think it's going to get continually worse. I also think that we need to be watching. I'm beginning to wonder if this group that was working there isn't larger than what with connections. Like, they need to be tracing that customer list.
Because it is the first place my mind went to. Is right. Is this going to be a thing?
Yeah.
Is this one parent off doing a thing that, okay, this is extreme, but you came up with this on your own,
right?
For whatever reason that you thought this was a good idea, or is this some of the fallout starting to show up of connections?
Right. I'm beginning to really wonder if it isn't the fallout, because this is this becoming a repeating pattern. And I'm like, well, how? What are these people thinking? I get pissed off about keeping food away from children. And then we're getting people handcuffing them because they stole food and hid it around. Really?
That speaks to heavy food insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Now gotta remember though, this is there is sometimes a back and forth.
Right.
And so I'm trying to hope that this was a completely overwhelmed parent or guardian, as in maybe the 54-year-old is not the parent, but right. Is custodially. And not necessarily knowing what the situation is.
Right.
Because there are parents who get overwhelmed.
Right.
With children that are, that may have difficulties.
Right.
Of which compulsive eating could potentially be a problem.
Right.
That quite frankly, it's a horrible reaction to it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost one of those, what do you want me to do? Now, that's the whole stealing food argument.
Right.
The handcuffing, I think we can all agree that that's too far.
Right.
I mean, as horrible as it is to say, there are people who have padlocked refrigerators.
Right.
That if that is the situation, sometimes a chain from Lowe's and a padlock.
Well, but see, this is what I don't get. The number of food suppliers in Charleston is insane. I mean, there's soup kitchens, food pantry. Every day there's a food pantry somewhere. There's no reason for insecurity in that area.
No, not for food. Well, for food insecurity, yes, there are many solutions.
Right.
I was kind of talking to, because again, we don't have enough details on this one to go, was there some situation outside of this is a completely typical kid doing typical kid things, and like, you know, the parent is like totally bonkers, or, you know, is this like, no, this is a child who has medical conditions and has gotten to an age where trying to like limit behavior is becoming a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like, this was a really poor decision.
Right.
But it's one of those, this wasn't an intent to harm. This was a intent to prevent harm that's more harmful than potentially the harm that they were doing to themselves.
Right. And I just think that there's some major issues here in the parenting community. Now, granted, I'm not a parent, but I just think this is a horror. Like, totally and completely abhorrent. I hope they prosecute her. I think she gets 62 years in jail. Because this is what people don't understand. Handcuffs can be very dangerous. Handcuffs can be very injuring, you know, especially for that long. Like, every
we're
2
not talking
hours
about a
when
few minutes.
Yeah. Every 2 hours, there's, even when you're in custody, every 2 hours they have to take them off and reposition them. Because they can cut into your skin.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that you really don't necessarily understand before using handcuffs.
Right.
Is that they are very problematic,
Right.
especially for long term. Well,
Right.
especially for long term use.
Right.
Like, that's not an appropriate restraint.
Right.
Like, that's an appropriate temporary restraint. Again, not for children, because most handcuffs are not made for children.
No, they're not.
So you end up having to kind of over tighten.
Right.
Like, the handcuffs are not meant for children.
Right.
But that's still not an appropriate restraint for that long of a duration.
Right.
Like, again, there are situations in which you do have to, as a caregiver, as a parent, make choices of how to like, either deal with the harm that a child is causing to themselves or others, and dealing with like how to prevent that in a way that's not harmful.
Right.
And it's that last part that I think everyone gets lost in.
Right.
Because this can come up in like dementia care. Like, when you're dealing with someone who has behavioral problems related to dementia, and is potentially going to cause them self-harm, it gets very nerve-wracking to try to sleep at night.
Right.
You know what I mean? And actually get good rest. And there's not a lot or enough conversations about like what you do when you're dealing with an adult or near adult, someone who's as big as an adult, for instance, and preventing harmful behavior.
Right.
Like, I mean, 4-year-olds are easy.
Right.
No. Like, you're off the ground. Where are you going?
Right.
Like, they're little, they're small, what are they going to do? But you start dealing with, you know, larger individuals.
Right.
It can be problematic. But then you come into the problem of, or is this a parenting problem? As in, the parent has an issue and their ideas are out of window.
Right.
Like, and it's hard to tell from this one what it is.
Right.
It doesn't mean that what they did was right. Please don't ever take that from what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's sometimes situations that are not what they seem. It's not some crazy wackadoodle, correct your children because they're demonically possessed, which is the Ruby Frankie story.
Right. Well, this one, I began looking at the commenters. Apparently, one of the commenters is closely to the child. Apparently, this is the grandmother is the one arrested. They hadn't been to school in years. And, the secondary story here is homeschooled child found in, and we're back to that problem that, when children are homeschooled, quote unquote, that there's more issues.
Well, it's easier for issues to go undetected.
Yeah.
And it's why people can get really suspicious of homeschooling kids. And like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that?
Right.
Like, what's going on?
Right.
It's an unfortunate. Like, I've known kids that were homeschooled and homeschooled very effectively.
Right.
Like, it was probably far better than what they would have gotten out of public education.
Right.
But I've also seen the opposite.
Right.
In which it's just an out.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and homeschool, a group of administrators are pushing for yearly checks to ensure safety in homeschool students, gathered across, accurate measurements of their academic programs. Other leaders are speaking out about this, but they're still missing the issue. And the issue is homeschooling's all nice and good if you are if you have the knowledge to do so, but there needs to be some sort of checks. All right, let's move on over to Kentucky, where the lights went out one day, possibly.
Okay. So again from WCHS, Kentucky sheriff charged in judge's death allegedly ignored deputies' abuse of women. So this is out of Whitesburg, Kentucky. The sheriff charged with murder in the shooting of a rural Kentucky judge in his courthouse chambers was accused in a federal lawsuit of failing to investigate allegations that one of his deputies repeatedly sexually abused a woman in the same judge's chambers. The preliminary investigation indicates that Letcher County Sheriff Sean M. Steins shot District Judge Kevin Mullins multiple times on Thursday following an argument inside the courthouse, according to Kentucky State Police. Mullins, who held the judgeship for 15 years, died at the scene, and Steins surrendered without incident. Just what the two men were arguing about wasn't immediately made clear. Steins was deposed on Monday in a lawsuit filed by two women, one of whom alleged that a deputy forced her to have sex inside Mullins' chambers for 6 months in exchange for staying out of jail. The lawsuit accuses the sheriff of deliberate indifference in failing to adequately train and supervise the deputy. The now former deputy sheriff, Ben Fields, pleaded guilty to raping the female prisoner while she was on home incarceration. Fields was sentenced this year to 6 months in jail and then 6.5 years on probation for rape, sodomy, perjury, and tampering with a prisoner monitoring device, the Mountain Eagle reported. 3 charges related to a second woman were dismissed because she is now deceased. Steins fired Fields, who was his successor as Mullins' bailiff, for conduct unbecoming after the lawsuit was filed in 2022, the Courier-Journal reported at the time. The killing of the judge sent shockwaves through the tight-knit Appalachian town. Whitesburg is the county seat of government with about 1,700 residents, located about 145 miles southeast of Lexington. Rather than hold the sheriff in the local jail, authorities booked Steins into the Leslie County Detention Center, 2 counties away, where he remained Friday morning. Lead County Prosecutor Matt Butler described an outpouring of sympathy as he recused himself in his office from the investigation, citing social and family ties to Mullins. "We all know each other here. Anyone from Letcher County would tell you that Judge Mullins and I married sisters, and that we have children who are first cousins but act like siblings, Butler said in a statement from his office. For that reason, among others, I have already taken steps to recuse myself and my entire office. Kentucky Attorney General Russell Coleman said his office will collaborate with a Commonwealth's attorney in the region as special prosecutors in the criminal case. Mullins, 54, was hit multiple times in the shooting, state police said. Steins, 43, was charged with one count of first-degree murder. We will fully investigate and pursue justice, Coleman said on social media. Kentucky Supreme Court Chief Justice Lawrence B. Van Meter said he was shocked by this act of violence and that the court system was shaken by this news. Letcher County's judge executive closed the county courthouse on Friday. It was unclear whether Steins had an attorney. State police referred inquiries to a spokesperson who did not immediately respond by email. But there is far too much violence in this world, and I pray there is a path to a better tomorrow, Governor Andy Beshear posted in response to the shooting.
See, and this is the thing. This is like old county buddy bullshit.
I mean, like, that's a lot going on.
Well, it is. But how? Okay, judges' chambers are like held in solidarity. Nobody goes into the chambers without the judge knowing it. We have a deputy performing rape in there. Like, what the hell? Like, where was this judge in this? Is my question. And then we have a sheriff going off the trigger handle over an argument. He should have been trained better not to shoot the judge. Arrest him, maybe.
You know, like, don't. I mean, are we going to. That's bad. I'm not making the joke. Sorry, the joke was about to fly out of my mouth. I'm just going to stop there. But yeah, no. So yeah, let's see. I was waiting to see if we could find more. Like, what happened? Oh, there we go. CNN has it. So Kentucky sheriff killed judge in his chambers following an argument. Police say, here's what we know. So let me try to skim through this real quick. So again, CNN.
CBS has produced the same story.
Yeah, it looks like no one's really figuring this one out.
Right.
Isolated event. Oh. Yeah, no one seems to know what started it.
Right. I think the sheriff was possibly investigating and found out the judge was involved.
I don't know.
That's what makes the most sense.
I mean, we'll have to wait for details on that one because that is the argument that no one understands what it was over.
Yeah.
At current.
All right. So, gotta love it when scientific news comes to light.
Yes, Earth will have a mini moon from September to November, and the world's on thin ice, literally. So this is from The Print. Scientifics, our weekly feature, offers you a summary of the top global science stories of the week with links to their sources. Awesome. So, New Delhi, a new research paper has found that an asteroid called 2024 PT5 is going to be captured by the Earth's gravitational pull and orbit the planet for 2 months. Published by RNAAS Journal, the study talks about how near-Earth objects are sometimes dragged by the Earth and become mini moons of our planet. The current asteroid was discovered in August this year and is barely 10 meters in size. Based on the asteroid's orbit, size, and previous paths, the researchers found that it would be pulled into the Earth's orbit from the 29th of September to the 25th of November. However, many of these near-Earth objects that become mini moons of the Earth do not complete a full orbit, and the 2024 PT5 is one such asteroid. It is part of the Arjuna asteroid belt, which consists of near-Earth objects.
Right.
And then there's a read more on that one, but I don't think there's...
Well, I think it's going to be interesting because if we look at what's occurring, and a lot of it, and I've made, and it's links to the research paper, which is very insightful if you take time to read it. But here's the problem with this. We're going to have an additional gravitational pull that is going to be affecting us very much like the moon. Think of the moon having a little sister or a baby. And we're already seeing those effects. We have leaves already turning early. We have, even though it's not as big as the moon, it still has a gravitational effect, i.e. Aeson's winter bronchitis showed up early. So this is going to probably be rushing things around a little bit. Plans are going to be a little pushed away.
So a bit of an intensifier.
Yeah, it's an intensifier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's going to mostly affect us. Like it looks like as like there's a pre-dome and then there'll be a post-dome kind of event.
Right.
And then what should we look for between the 29th of September and the 25th of November?
Well, from an astrological point of view, we're going to be looking for events. We're going to be looking for events moving faster. We're going to be looking for different things occurring, things that would normally only occur when we have a strong full moon. We're basically getting a mini moon with it.
So all the
People's
normal moon
behaviors
stuff
are going to be a little bit over top.
Ooh, Brenda has a great question. Will it affect the charts of anyone born during that period?
I think it would. I think that it may not show up on a traditional astrology chart because it's not programmed to. So you're going to have to look for someone's going to an effective astrologer, which is someone that observes the continuation of astrology. And that's the reason I'm looking at it from this way. Let me see if I can find something. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Go away. Reject. It's about to stake up your sign. Okay. Tell you, some of these articles buried the lead.
Okay. Well, I think it starts to open up a bigger topic.
Mm-hmm.
Because, now I have a question.
Okay.
Well, because, all right, so we've been throwing junk into space on our own.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And we keep throwing more stuff into space that actually is intended to orbit the Earth. Now, granted, the core of astrology is predating all of that.
True.
How much has been attenuated for the fact that we are putting we have a space station
Mm-hmm.
That's bigger than this asteroid.
Right, but the problem is it's not emitting the stuff that we throw up there isn't emitting its own gravitation. It's going to have the same harmonics as the Earth.
Okay.
Okay.
So as long as it's actually orbiting the Earth, not kind of just hanging out.
Right.
Like, I'm going to pass by.
Okay. So this asteroid supposedly returns in 2050. So we're going to see the same upset again in 2050. So if they were born during this time, so they're born in 2024. So around the time they turn 26, they're going to have almost like a solar emotional return. That can be a little complicated. I mean, it's going to depend on whether they're above or they'll have a large pot of luck during that time.
Okay.
Okay.
So they'll be the lucky babies.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Now let's talk about what it does for the rest of us. Okay, and if you want to see how this is affecting you, it's highly recommended to be like matching your meditation energy, because this is going to give that same moon cycle energy, just like having another moon.
Okay.
Here we go. Here's what an astrologer says. Here we go. This is what the astrology portal is saying.
Alrighty. So, how will the mini moon affect me astrologically? If the moon governs feelings, wouldn't the mini moon be the reason I'm extra emotional? Why am I tired? We might be feeling the aftershocks and pregame of these lunations. Since this discovery during the eclipse season, the lunar eclipse was September 17th, and the solar eclipse will be October 2nd. Eclipses energize the moon, so what we are experiencing is just the post and pre-eclipse hangovers. Our bodies are burnt out and need a rest as a result.
Yep.
So this is kind of maybe this is adding a little extra pep.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not a massive effect. It's just because of when it's occurred.
Well, and that's because P5 is such a small influence. Now, if P5 was the same gravitational harmonics as the moon, we might need, we'd go through a lot of, we'd have three things occur. We would see a very high level of emotions. We take what we're dealing with now, take some of the cases we're looking at now, and maximize that by 5.
Okay.
Then we also have people that are like our Virgos or Cancers, the ones that are really harmonically changed to the moon. Y'all guys be bouncing off the damn wall. You know, the moon's ruling houses would be problematical.
Ooh, now I have a whole question series. Potentially a series, but I can sum it up in one question. Has anyone ever looked at doing like theoretical astrology for other planets?
See, that's going to be different, and here's why. Is because we're going to have to get there and for 100 years watch it.
Okay. I was just wondering if some things would map out. Like if you have a planet that is very similar to Earth, otherwise Earth-like, in a similar configuration of planets, but there's, say, 2 suns.
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of negate after a few hundred years? And as long as you're not dealing with like a random second sun, or has 3 moons, and as long as you're not dealing with a random third moon,
it won't negate all of it, because it's going to be a total different gravitational flow. It's going to take at least 100 years to compile information on how this planet in this house affects this person.
Okay. So astrology, in a sense, is not immediately translatable from like
planet to planet.
So basically, you leave the Earth, and astrology, you got to find someone to figure that out.
Well, and you're going to have to sit there and do it all over again, because astrology is a science, and it's the predictions of astrology is because we already have predictions of the past. That's like, ooh, A plus B happened, so C occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we change planets, meaning we're changing our viewpoint, we're going to have to then start all over. Another planet may have 14 houses. It may have 27 houses. It may have 28 different astral beings in those houses. And then you have to find the harmonics energy of those houses. And it's like this asteroid, it's hitting you. Okay, let's look at Joe since the past week, because that's when it's been beginning to give us effects. He's been very tired. He's been very moody. His sleep pattern is upright and irregular. He has also been grumpy and a little bit more achy. Hello, moon number 2. This is why it's occurring.
Well, but that article or that comment there that you sent was also pointing out that like we're stuck between a what was it, a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse?
And a solar
lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
I don't know what I said. Lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse.
Right.
Did I actually say the word mooner?
Yes.
Wow. Okay, sorry guys. That was a moment. Brenda, save that one for the scrapbook.
Yeah.
It was a lunar eclipse.
Right.
We're live from West Virginia. Hi.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not wearing sponge curlers or a moo-moo. Give me crap.
And you have all your teeth.
I do. But anywho, so the majority of what like a lot of people are going through right now has more to do with the lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. That's an intensifier. That's adding a little pepper on top of it.
Right.
I just want to make sure we're sluicing out. Yeah. Brenda's like, I want a sticker.
Yes,
lunar eclipse.
But no, so we have these 2 influxes, and we normally get 2 to 4 a year, and it is great for slingshot or advanced magics or that type of thing. That's the lunar and solar eclipse, and that's a bonding, a pairing. That's really good. It's also endings and beginnings, that type of thing, and those have been giving you effort and effect. Everybody gets it. You got to look at where the eclipse is in your chart, debate it into what's really going on. Then we've got this intensifier, meaning like it's an extra piece of stuff thrown in there, an extra vibration. I wouldn't call it like salt. I'd call it more like jalapenos.
Okay. So it's a little extra pepper.
Exactly. So it's going to affect you. It's going to affect everyone. It may affect them differently depending on where their moon is in their chart. This is why it's important to know your solar and your moon's positioning. Like, excuse me. Like I am Virgo. Like my moon is in Virgo. If you've not noticed, I'm getting very organized right now. It's giving me more push to get organized. But my life is also pushing me to be more organized.
Okay. Yeah, well, and a lot of things are oddly coming back around for you. Like, yeah. It's been a rocky road for you since that. Like, I just have to point this out. Y'all don't know the behind the scenes. Since the 17th, things have been like a pinball game for him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of like ding dong, ding ding, da 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 ding. in terms of like events keep happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of them are negative, and then the positives are like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Like not a lot of super negatives, but like the positives are like, I'm sorry, am I hallucinating?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say that again. So yeah, it's having massive effects for your verdict.
Yeah, and we are launching so many things.
Oh, Brenda says Moon and Gemini. So already have two personalities dealing with the moon.
Okay, so Moon in Gemini. What house, or do we remember? Because it isn't two personalities, it's an ability to communicate with everybody. You play devil's advocate more often. This is only going to heaten that. All right. This also means that you're going to probably only deal with Libras, Scorpios, and Aquarius moon people, and get comfortable with them because they'll get your, well, you know, it might be good for him to go to jail for 10 years, but it also might be bad for him to be in jail for 10 years. And it sounds like it's two different opposites, but you're actually easily playing devil's advocate.
It's in her 8th house.
All right, this is into your intelligence. You have above average intelligence, meeting with investigation of nature. In the 8th house creates an individual who's very naturally, very deep, very analytical thinker. Their minds are truly the greatest weapon. Yeah, you should have gone into police detectivism. Like that'll enable you to do a lot more there. Like you can tell when someone's lying to you.
So she's gonna be a walking lie detector, being like, "Nope, that's a lie."
Well, not only that, but she's great in psychology. If they really set their mind to it, she would have been great keeping their cards to the chest for fear of vulnerability. They already know the answers when in most classes. They're truly insightful with their own. They tend to bond well with others, sharing ideas. Social butterfly, but they've got to watch because not everyone mixes with everyone.
So I'm just going to be watching out really to make sure that she does not convince you that there needs to be a Patreon tier where we give her like $100 a month.
No, that's not even her angle at it. It's more like a Patreon tier that enables her to actually pre-schedule the shows herself for us and hands us the topics, because she will have already done the marketing research, dug into the information, and pre-presented the information to us. That's the other thing we have to watch for.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I was just saying, but she could.
Right.
Like she could talk us into it. We'd be sitting months later going, when the hell did we think this was a good idea?
More so, how did this work out? All right, guys, let's take a break, and when we come back, we'll find how Joe is the asshole this week.
Absolutely.
Love diving into metaphysical topics, psychic insights, and lively discussions? Now you can help keep the conversation going. By becoming a Patreon supporter of The Psychic Coffee Shop, you'll gain access to exclusive content, behind-the-scenes insights, and special perks just for our patrons. Join our community and ensure that your favorite psychic show continues to thrive. Your support helps us bring more enlightening episodes, special guests, and deep dives into the world of the unseen. Become a patron today and enjoy a cup of wisdom with us every week. Click the link to join the baristas and unlock exclusive content. Thank you for your support.
Unlock your full potential with Aeson Knight's life coaching. Are you ready to take control of your life and manifest the future you deserve? Aeson Knight, a seasoned life coach and master psychic, is here to guide you on a transformative journey. Whether you're navigating personal challenges, career transitions, or seeking spiritual growth, Aeson's life coaching services offer tailored guidance to help you achieve your goals. With Aeson by your side, you'll discover the tools to overcome obstacles, embrace your true self, and create a life filled with purpose and fulfillment. His unique blend of spiritual insight and practical coaching empowers you to turn your dreams into reality. Ready to make a change? Book your session today and start your journey to a more empowered, balanced, and joyful life with Aeson Knight. Click the link to schedule your first session and step into your power.
Are you ready for an electrifying podcast experience that keeps you coming back for more? Join Aeson Knight every week as he takes you on a journey through captivating shows, each exploring unique and fascinating topics. And here's the best part. By subscribing, you'll never miss an episode where you can get your burning questions answered live on air, absolutely free. Whether it's relationship advice, career guidance, or mystical insights, Aeson's podcasts have got you covered. When you subscribe, you become part of a vibrant community, engaging directly with Aeson as he shares his wisdom and leaves you feeling empowered and enlightened. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and be part of the conversation. What you'll get by subscribing: Monday 5 p.m. Metaphysics. Today, soulful conversations with Aeson Knight and Firefly, exploring the essence of metaphysics in today's world. Tuesday 8 p.m. The Psychic Coffee Shop. Dive into current events with a psychic twist, featuring special guests and thought-provoking discussions. Friday 9 p.m. The Mountain Bears Podcast. Lively discussions from a gayish, techie-ish, bearish perspective with Aeson and Joe. Sunday 5 p.m., Psychic That Plans. Get a weekly tarot energy overview and time management tips from Aeson Knight. Click here to subscribe now and never miss an episode. By subscribing, you're not just tuning in, you're joining a community of curious minds and ensuring you're always in the loop with Aeson's insightful and interactive shows. Don't wait. Hit that subscribe button and get ready for an amazing podcast journey.
Ready for an enchanting journey of self-discovery? Join Lord Aeson Knight in our Wicca courses. Unveil the secrets of Wicca, explore deity relationships, rituals, and more. As a third-degree high priest, Aeson Knight guides you toward empowerment and enlightenment. Enroll today and take your first step into the magical circle. Click the link to begin your journey.
Psychic Saturday. Get 50% off with Aeson Knight every third Saturday of the month. Don't miss out. Book now.
All right, welcome back.
Absolutely.
All right, time for you to plead your case.
All right. Am I the asshole for disagreeing with my girlfriend getting more tattoos? My 31 male and girlfriend, 30 female, have been together, or we've been together for 2 years. We love each other deeply and both believe that we are soulmates. I try my best to be supportive of everything that she does and all of her interests. My girlfriend had a half sleeve of tattoos when we started dating. I don't mind tattoos, but feel like there's a limit where I find them to be a bit too much. She doesn't have that many, and I love the ones that she has now. Tattoos are a big interest of hers, and over the course of our relationship, she has gotten another tattoo, which I also supported and don't mind. I was just happy that she liked it. Since then, she has stated that she's very interested in getting one across her chest. I feel that such a tattoo would be a big change in appearance, and I don't think it would look good. I always respond that I'm not sure about such a tattoo. I understand that it's her body and that I have no say in what she does to it. Today, she comes up to me brimming with excitement, stating that she's getting the tattoo that she's been talking about and asks me what I think about it. I tell her that it's her body and she can do whatever she likes, but I think that I prefer the amount of tattoos she has currently and that I don't think I would like the tattoo. I can tell that she was crushed with what I had to say, with her emotions slowly changing from sadness to anger directed at me. She asked me how I'd feel if she told me to stop enjoying one of my interests. I tell her that I love her more than anything in the world, And I very much support her decision to do whatever she wants with her body, but that I think she would look better without it, and she has every right to disregard my opinion. Now she's pissed at me, ignoring and stonewalling me, telling me that she is very sad over what I said and that she wants to be left alone while glaring at me with cold eyes. I feel horrible for what I said. She won't even respond to me when I tell her that I love her, and I don't know what to do.
You're an asshole. Here's what I mean by that. You're not giving her a clear answer. You're not talking about the subject of art matter that she is choosing. You're just going by placement, you don't like it.
Okay. Okay, but if it really were the case of there's not a pretty enough tattoo that's going to make the placement better.
But it's nothing about placement. Okay. It's talking about subject matter. Like, is she getting a tattoo that represents maybe her children? Maybe she's getting a tattoo representing your relationship across her chest. Or is she just getting roses and thorns because of her overcoming something? Like, you're just looking at the tattoo and the location. You're not looking at the reason why. It's like, I have a tattoo on my chest. It has a lot of meaning on it. I plan on getting another one that has a lot of meaning on it. Someone that enjoys tattoos doesn't just go and get whatever. They plan out what it is, and it's normally an important part of art that they're deciding to wear on their body. You're just looking at placement.
Okay. I'm struggling with this one. I think you're allowed with, and this is where it gets a little dicey for me. I don't think that OP is all that into tattoos. Like, I think we can all agree on that. Now, like, tattoos are just gonna meh. They don't really do anything for me. They don't really do anything against me. So if you have 1 or 20 or whatever, that's fine. I kind of have the, like, as in stating what he's saying, is that, like, you know, cool, you want to get tattoos. Don't ask me my opinion on them.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're probably not going to like my opinion, because my opinion is not as someone who enjoys tattoos or thinks that they're something to look at that is beautiful and artful and taste. Like, I don't think he's this deep.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this is a deep attack.
Right.
That kind of what you're saying is that, like, you've really attacked her. I don't think he's thinking that deeply about it, because I don't think he thinks that deeply about tattoos. I don't think he's ever thought about tattoos that much, other than, like, they are on your body.
Right.
And people have them.
Right.
So I don't know that asking his opinion was a good choice in the first place.
Right.
I think that this is a misunderstanding after 2 years is horribly unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think this is going to be pretty important. Because I don't think you can get a tattoo enthusiast and a tattoo null. I don't know what to call him. It's not really I'm against tattoos. It's not really that I'm for tattoos. It's just kind of
Right. But, you know, it's the same thing as if I decided to go out for Miss Continental in that far, far universe. You would at least have enough coof to go, you know, you look better in gold.
Well, yeah. I mean, but at the same time, I don't know that I would necessarily be all that, like, locked in on, like, picking a dress design. And it's not like I won't go with you. It's not like I won't be supportive. But is it, like, and I'll be happy for you if you decide to go do that, whether you win or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll
Right.
help as I can. But is it like a life-changing event for me if you go do that?
Yes, it would be.
Well, I mean, there would be a lot that goes into that, and I get that part.
Right.
But I mean, is it something I'm necessarily sitting here rooting for you to do right now, apropos of nothing?
Right.
Like, I'm not really all that interested in drag.
I know you're not. That's why I chose that subject.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be like, if that's what you want to do, that's great. We'll make that happen.
Right.
But it's not like I'm sitting here invested.
Right. Or if I decide to go and, compete for, America's Next Psychic, or, England's Next Best Psychic, or Ukrainian Next Best Psychic, you're going to be involved and totally supportive through that. You're not going to be phoning it in like the student, like, oh, well, do what you want, but I don't really care for it. No, it's going to be like, no, honey, you're not wearing that. Get the Coco Vaughn. No, you're not, you would help me along with it. Choose a number,
Right.
choose a dance, get the wigs done, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot that goes into it. The same that it is.
Yeah. Now, Brenda's kind of, I think, a little more on page with it.
Right.
And kind of where I think he is, and sort of like where I'd be with the drag, is not his body, but he is allowed his preferences, and she asked him. He was honest with her about it. She wants support and for him to feel the way that she does. He was respectful about the way he said it. It's her body. She needs to get it if she wants it. Not everyone will like it, and that's okay. He didn't tell her not to get it.
Right.
Yeah. And Brenda laughed, said Joe would be going, the designer is who?
Right.
Exactly. And I think sometimes that's kind of the having an interest versus I don't have an opinion.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not into drag queens. I don't hate drag queens. I'm not anti-drag queen.
Right.
I'm not like sitting over here on the sidelines going, I hope she falls. Okay, I kind of am, but it's because I just think people in heels falling is hilarious, but that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole dance move, but anyhow.
Yeah, But anywho,
Beyond like, you would be packing the car and you'd be going, we're going to Lexington because of when, how many days are we going to be in Lexington? The whole 99 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't say that isn't what he's going to do. Like, he may be more than happy to take her to go get it, pay the money for it, like, and help her with aftercare, help her while, she's in aftercare, and never complain about it.
Right.
But it's like, you asked me my opinion.
Right.
I don't know that I'm going to like it, and I don't think it's going to improve you, and I'm not really into tattoos.
Right. But, you're not really into drag queens, but you at least know which pageant we're going to go to.
Yes, but don't ask me anything more than, like, a date and a location. And, like, an event title. Like, I'm not going to... You know what I mean? It's not that I won't go. It's not that I'm not going to keep you on schedule and all these things. But if you start asking me, like, who won last year? Fuck if I know. I got nothing. Not a clue.
Because Miss Continental just went down.
Brenda says, only Aeson's competitors fall, Joe. Focus those falling thoughts on them.
Exactly.
No, I'm sorry. Even when he goes across, it'd be like, fall. Because I'm a chaos mage or some shit. Like, it's nothing personal.
It was Juliana Reynolds, Rivera.
Okay, but that's fair. You have to look it up too.
Yes, I had to look it up. I've not gotten to watch it. I'm sorry, I haven't paid the money to watch it yet.
No, but follow along with me. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know what would be something that would, like, and I was hoping that was it, that it would be the thing that's like, you already know who won last year. And, but I'm sitting over here like, you asked me who won last year, you asked me what the rules are, you asked me what, like, I'm not going to know that. I'm not going to suddenly know how to put anyone into drag. I will pick up some things, I'm sure, but I'm not going to be over here like, we need that? What's that for? And then I'm going to regret asking that because I did. Here's my problem, guys. I can firmly tell you why I'm not into drag. I'm not negative on it. I'm also not positive on it. I'm null on the topic.
Right.
A friend of mine years ago was horrified that I had never actually been to a proper drag show.
Yeah.
And so, as a drag queen, I guess like y'all do, he was enamored by this concept and was like, you're coming with me.
Right.
And had me backstage for the full transformation.
Yes.
And all I could do is those exploded diagrams of things? Where it's like, here's the camera, but here's all the parts and pieces and blah, 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 blah. It ruined it because the illusion is probably the most important part of a drag show. And so when you start at how does this big burly man start and go through it and end up on stage, when you go through that entire process, it's sort of like seeing the exploded diagram right in front of you.
Yeah, and that's because that's why I'm so hard on Queens, is because I know the illusional part. And it's like, show me the good show, and there's a lot that don't have a good show anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that part of being an illusionist is don't look behind the curtain.
Yes. I
looked behind the curtain from the beginning. And so it was just kind of like, well, you destroyed that for me. It was my ultimate reaction because I didn't see the illusion. I didn't walk in, hair, makeup, everything's done, boom, on stage. Here's your drag queen, and oh, wow, how do you do that? I didn't have that moment. My moment was, oh, well, that's some duct tape, and that's some. I watched the whole process. I know exactly what went into that. Every single bit of it.
Right. But what I'm saying is where I'm at is like, you would still be the supportive partner, and you would know why I've decided to put my heels back on. Like, you would get the reasoning behind it. He isn't even presenting the reasoning because he doesn't give a damn.
I don't know that he doesn't give a damn. I think it's so much more about the fact of, I don't think he understands that she needs to hear it. That, like, I'm just not.
Right.
And vice versa. He needs to understand, and she's not giving him, what is important about this tattoo. I don't think they've learned how to communicate about it.
Right.
Somewhere in 2 years of this topic, he's not heard, and she hasn't learned to tell.
Right.
Like, so they can be on the same page. What's this about?
Right.
Like, the tattoo is not about getting a tattoo. Like, that is so, like, that's like getting an appendectomy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a surgical procedure. I guess there's something wrong with your appendix. No, that's not where it's at.
Right.
Like, no.
And it's just like, get a clue.
Yeah. So I hope for both of y'all that, like, I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna go with everyone. I'm gonna go with Dill Pickle.
Right.
I think there's too many moving parts here of communication failure. So I'm hoping they find someone for some quick counseling, because I don't think this will take long for someone who gets it and is like, you haven't heard what she needs to tell you, and you don't even know that you have to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go. Bull's giving you grief?
Sorry, your sister has amazed me again, okay?
Did you get abstracted?
Yes!
Oh, God. Okay, calm down. Try to get a poll. It'll be there when we're done with the show. You don't
Exactly. I will
down.
answer her questions later.
Mm-hmm.
But anyhow. All right, so the poll is up. You can go and vote whether he's the asshole for not fully supporting his girlfriend's choice to get a chest tattoo, or to get more tattoos. Off to our psychic Reddit questionnaire.
And Brendan knows, what did she make now? All right. So, psychic reading messing with my head. A few months ago, I received an unsolicited psychic reading from my Uber driver. Yes, my Uber driver. She interpreted our conversation suddenly to tell me that I would soon be meeting a man in a few months or so. She went on to describe his physical appearance in great detail and told me it would be a love like I'd never had before. She also knew some details about my breakup with my ex, which I hadn't told anyone other than my therapist. For a while, I didn't think about it. Then I decided to start dating again. And for some reason, I can't get this out of my head. It's making me question a lot of things and wonder if I'm with the wrong men because they don't fit her description. It's even led me to pursue men I knew I wasn't attracted to simply because they did fit her description. I know that sounds unhealthy, so I guess I'm just wondering if anyone has experienced anything similar, receiving a reading and wishing they never had. Any advice or wisdom for how to get this out of my head would be much appreciated. And then there's an obligatory update of thanks and...
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. One, you didn't ask for this reading, so I think that Uber psychic needs to get some ethics, in my opinion. You don't give readings just be giving readings. Two, and this is the more important part, you may not have met the man. You may have decided to turn down Route 22 and meet another option. This was 3 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
You have made choices and decisions about your love life since then. Mm-hmm. Furthermore, you wouldn't be dating someone you're not attracted to because it fits the description. You would be dating this man because you wanted to. It's like you don't tell your GPS to take you to Wendy's and it runs you through every other restaurant first.
Like, are you sure you want to go to Wendy's?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's a few problems I have on this one.
Okay.
One, and I think OP kind of like answered her own question as she asked it. Right. Unsolicited psychic reading. One, yes, those do happen to people. It's a horrible way to do business. And the reason for that is one, we do not, like, it's bad enough that it's like 2024 and we're getting in cars with strangers that we meet on the internet to take you to like an undisclosed location. Like, that part of life is really weird right now anyway. To then add the layer of, while you have the captive passenger that's paying you for the experience in the back seat, give them unsolicited psychic readings. Like, no. Please, no. Like, if you're out there doing Uber or Lyft or DoorDash, I don't care what it is. If you're getting brought into someone's personal life like that, that is not your opportunity. Like, give them a business card, maybe. Like, I'm cool with that. Like, you know, if you need another Uber, Lyft, or psychic reading, here's my card. I'm cool with that. Don't just do the reading. Don't just provide the experience. Especially if someone's not able or even recognizing that they have a right to opt out. Like, one, if you're even going to start an unsolicited reading, as in you have been struck by the divine and you feel compelled to tell someone something, at least ask them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, like, one, it just sounds polite, but two, really, ethically, you're screwing around in someone's life.
Right. You know,
have the
I
decent
see
ethics
this
down.
no different than someone scamming on these damn messages. Which, by the way, just in case they are, no, I do not message you. I've got an important message for you. I don't do that.
No.
No, you come to me, you'll get your message when you come to me. Because apparently that's been reported as occurring to many readers online that are profiles are being ghosted or copied or whatever.
Well, and it's not that we haven't had this with the channel and the show and people popping in like, I connect with your energy, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Please, if someone messages you with that, do the block thing, do the report thing, do the spam thing.
Right.
Like, so, it's not going to be Aeson. Like,
right.
It's not someone who works for him or with him. And it's highly inappropriate.
Right. Secondly, and this is the second thing there. I think that, you know, when you get a glimpse of the future, understand that you're getting foresight for the future. You, however, have to follow the steps to get there. You know, and if the steps that you're taking is leading you in a different direction, good. That's where you're supposed to go. Who says it doesn't lead to Dark and Hampson later on? But it's going to naturally occur.
Well, and it sounds like it was a bad reading to start with.
Well, it does.
In the sense of, this is not how you give advice.
Right.
I mean, unless what she took from it was this, right, and it was given different.
Right.
Generally, if you're like seeing the pattern of dudes she's dating,
mm-hmm,
which clearly she is, she was talking about the ex, but like, if you're seeing the pattern, right, would you necessarily be like, you're going to meet someone totally different? Or would you go into so much detail that it's like, I'm literally going to point you in the direction of other people?
See, I would be saying, well, this is the pattern and this is what you need to be working on. Like, if you continue to date white trailer trash and everyone knows that damn type of dude, you're going to get the same damn results. You need to start dating more elite men for your brain power. But I'm not going to say on March 23rd you need to be at the elevator bar so that you can meet this dark-haired guy that's in a suit and he'll take you out for the best night of your life. That's not how readings work.
No. Because the minute you say that, you're going to throw a butterfly effect in there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is, you know, if it were even a decent reading, it would have been like, hey, I think you're going to meet someone totally different, and if you'll give them a shot, I think you can find some real happiness here.
Right. Now, do I get descriptions like oval face, dark eyes, dark hair, you know, or light hair, or no hair, which is interesting when you're trying to figure out, is this who I'm looking at currently? Is this who I'm looking at, who they're going to look like when you meet them? Because, like, often they say, dude has light hair, and they date, they have this fabulous. I've had clients come back to me and go, I've met a man and I'm just totally in love with him, but he's bald. I'm like, really? Have you ever asked him what his hair color is? Blonde. You mean like I said? Yeah. Is it my fault he shaves his head? Well, no, but you said he didn't be blonde haired. He is naturally blonde haired.
The fact that he shaves it is not my problem.
Exactly. Or I'll get, and it doesn't, once in a while, very rarely I'll get names. And the times that I've gotten names, I'll give them, and I've had people come back and bitch at me like, you said his name was Dick. His name is not Dick, it's Richard. I'm like, and he's a dick, isn't he?
Dun, dun, dun.
Delivery of 1 star.
Pretty much. That's how that works.
Yeah.
That's one set of issues. Then there's the whole, like, if y'all are getting readings and specifically reorienting your life around it,
Right.
please realize sometimes that has its own negative effect.
Well, it does, but there's also a type, and it pops up a lot on networks, and I will say leave it alone. This means stop getting readings on it. Stop doing anything to get a reading. Stop doing anything about the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Leave it alone. Don't text, don't call, don't social stalk, don't have readers do it for you. Clients don't get that.
Yeah. Well, and the don't get obsessed with is the bigger point. Because It is fundamentally an obsession when it gets to the point that you're seeing like 12 different readers.
Mm-hmm.
You are maxing out a credit card,
mm-hmm.
asking the same question
mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Like, do you want the thing to happen or not, or do you just like playing with the idea?
Well, and
really,
what people would do is to go get a cake mix, put the cake in, make up the mix, put it in the oven, and sit there and for that 45 minutes, to how many readings you've gotten within the day, and open the oven door for how many readings you got in a day, and tell me how that cake turns out. Because that's called the observer effect.
Yeah, or better yet, mix up a cake mix, put it in your preheated oven, leave the oven door open.
Mm-hmm.
Now, time how long it takes for the cake to get done, and for the hell of it, grab a box of toothpicks and just keep poking it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will just about guarantee this is going to be the worst cake that anyone has ever made.
Well, I'll guarantee it'll take it a damn longer time to do.
That's if there's even cake left in the pan by the time that you just keep sticking it. Like, if you treat it like a voodoo doll that you're mad at,
mm-hmm.
how much cake's going to be left in the pan?
All right. Now, if you want to get really grumpy about it, when you pour the batter in, pour it in the person's name. I didn't say that.
There we go. All right. So hopefully that helps on the psychic reading messing with your head. And please don't give unsolicited readings. Stop giving unsolicited readings. Especially to the non-consenting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least ask. At least ask. Like, if you are horribly compelled, you just can't not say something. And accept their answer.
Yes.
Like, as Brenda pointed out, some people just don't want to know.
Nor do they care to know. Nor is this a way to win a client. Mm-mm. And this is what I call, and I never really saw this happen in real life until the Long Island medium came around.
Mm-hmm.
It's her effect on our world. And it's like, please stop. Okay. All right. So the poll is in.
Oh, he's breathing deep. He doesn't agree.
Oh, I agree. Oh, I agree. It is a straight split, 50-50. You're a dill pickle, and yes, you're an asshole.
All righty. Mixed response.
Well, it's a 50-50 response, and that's true, because you are in a position that you now have a problem. And the problem is your girlfriend's mad at you for not at least supporting her endeavors and understanding them. And then once you understand them, then make suggestions that might change her view. Like, well, if you're going to get a tattoo there, let's make it something important.
Or knowing that it is.
Yes.
So I say it's a communication issue. I think y'all can work this out.
Yes.
I think you're going to need some communication support.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years is a long time to get there, but I think you can fix it pretty quick.
Yes, very much so. All right, guys, let's go ahead and run this.
All right.
And we have not updated it, so you do have also Bella.
Yay! So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Brenda, Jonah Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Caitlin Bell, Devin, Maria Meyer, and Bella Branson.
Yes, thank you for your support. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the Psychic College Shop, please do so at pcspnetwork.com.
Mm-hmm. Yay!
All right. And with that, guys, we will see you on Friday, hopefully. So until then, we'll be around. Good night.